Hey everybody, IllogicalJJ here with a quick GTA news brief. From today until Thursday, April 8th, GTA is giving away some cool freebies. First of all parachutes, parachute bags, and parachute smoke is free for the next 7 days. Just head to your local ammunition to pick that up. You can also get the Bigness Sweater for free simply by doing a parachuting job. I did all of these jobs a long time ago because they are fun and you actually earn decent money considering how quick they are. Once you complete a parachuting job, you will be placed in queue to receive the Bigness Jackal Sweater by April 14th. That's it for today's GTA news brief. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.